Welcome back once again, all you Warhammers and Warhammies. You stumbled across the angriest episode of Big M's Power Hour to date. I am your host, Angry Big M, along with my special cohort, Happy Cole of the Sea.
Hey, how's everybody doing? It's a wonderful month. I don't think we have anything to be angry over. It's just wonderful times here.
Yep, nothing frustrating at all has happened. No,
No,
no
sir.
tomfoolery or befuddlement.
No, none of that. None at all.
So, we have a lot to get to this week. If you have any big projects like you're, going Golden Demon level with zombies, that was a great episode to start that.
You'll have some time. It'll be okay.
I think before we get into the news or anything like that, a good place to start off is we had Adepticon at home. We didn't make the trek this year, so we went over to Dave's house and we had what we called Adepticant.
It was a great time. Great
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, other than me getting my teeth kicked in every game.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so the first game that we played was Cole and I, where Cole brought new Idneth, and I finally built my Soul Blight, and somehow he managed to kill two 40-man blocks of zombies, quite
By the
easily.
bottom of one. Yeah, yeah.
Quite easily.
I
Yeah.
used 0 Reavers or Thralls, so that was good. I'm not going to argue over it. I'm not going to complain about it at all. Because it was even used the thing of the internet's complaining about. So,
Now I will say one thing about that. It did make me decide to drop the giant and try a vampire lord on zombie dragon.
I think that'll be a great change for you. I
Um,
think the extra speed will be
Yeah,
wonderful.
I think the extra speed, and then of course then the points freeing it up makes things a little bit nicer. So then the next I fought Neil was my Stormcast, my LVO Stormcast that went 3-2 against Neil, who goes 0-100, and he just shot me off the table.
Yeah.
Just couldn't keep a damn thing alive. And it was so funny. Like round one, I was doing a decent amount of saving, but I was still taking models off the table left and right. And there's Neil like, oh no, I'm not doing it.
Uh,
And we're like, oh yeah, here's four more mortals. Here's another mortal. And then of course at the same time, you're using my Fire Slayers.
yes, I was against Chuck because I told you the army has to be better than what you're saying it is. I'll show you. Newsflash, I was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
The army's still it's struggling. If you don't know what you are doing with that army, you're gonna have a bad time.
Which again, like I said, we'll talk about that. I did come up with a couple ideas. I don't think it's going to change anything, but it's certainly fun to put them on the table.
Yeah.
And then I played Dave's, I believe he's 9-year-old son, 1,000 points of Fire Slayers versus 1,000 points of Slave to Darkness, and I barely managed to eke that out.
Yeah, it looked like it was quite the battle over there. Not
Yeah.
too much left on the table by the end.
I would like to say that's because I was going easy on him, but it's not.
But
the
you were
case.
going full bore.
But I did get to round things off with a fun 1,000 point 40k game versus Dave, my Custodes versus his Gene Stealer cults. I'm still trying to get the gunk out of my boot.
Yeah, you stomped him pretty good. Whenever I watched that first round of shooting of Dave's go by, and I went, "Oh, you didn't take a wound.
No.
That's not good."
Now I was really shocked whenever. So he did a lot of damage with that little horde of. It was 5 Gene Stealers, like the actual Tyranid Gene Stealers, and Like each one of them gets 4 attacks at Ren 4 or some shit.
Oh yeah, the pure strain are great.
Jeez, oh man! Like, forget Gene Stealer Cult, Dave. Just go straight Tyranid. You can't lose. Like, you have elite strength at horde prices. That's
It'll be fine.
So with that, again, I've been absent from 40K for 2 editions. I know you and I talked about this on the ride home a little bit here, but like, it's so. It is a very ineloquent game at this point.
It definitely has its moments where you're sitting there looking for something, and it becomes a real search to understand a rule in that
Right.
game.
I mean, it's like you could definitely tell that there's more of a cognizance of an attempt at balance in 40K, but it's like it's almost like they get to the end of the pier and then they forget that they're on a pier and then just jump straight into the lake to just go get a solution. And it's like you completely abandon the land. All right.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, they definitely have those moments.
Again,
I think another thing our group found is we are not big fans of the layout of a lot of codexes right now.
no, not at all. Well, that's always been the problem. Like I've always wanted to buy like a second codex just to shred it up and reorganize it and spiral bind it.
Fair enough.
Now I will say, like, no, again, to an example of what I mean by an inelegant system, like, one of the complaints I have about about AOS is the fact that you can't keep a foot hero alive. And our Lookout Sir really doesn't do anything.
No, -1 to hit is nice, but if somebody wanted them dead, they're gonna die.
Right. But I think the 40K Lookout Sir is straight absurd.
Yeah, the inability to shoot somebody.
I mean, because like so the layout of the game was essentially like, we'll go with this being the board, like I always do. So I had Custodian Terminators here. Dave had the pure strain Gene Stealers here, and then had the Primarch over here. Out in the open, he wasn't even behind cover or near another unit or anything, and I couldn't shoot him because the pure strain Gene Stealers were closer.
Yeah, it gets rough like that.
Doesn't even begin to make sense.
No, I hear you.
I'm okay with shooting the closest thing if, like, let's say if it was within 3 inches, even if it's not obscuring. Sure, that's no problem. That makes perfect sense to me. It's like, again, one thing that I've griped about in the past is GW doing their representative versus actual, where it's like, okay, are the trees representative or are they actual? And it's like, they finally chose one that they're representative, but
which, honestly, the correct choice. Having to glue your trees down on the base, that was not a fun time.
It's a dumb move, Chuck.
Yep.
But yeah, like I said, and then like just all of the different command abilities, like that was really awkward and clunky, and it's like, GW wonders like why people go to things like Wahapedia or get upset about it, and it's like, well, they literally have easy. You can literally go there and they have the command abilities organized by phase, and I'm like, how is it not like that in the book?
Right. Yeah.
I don't understand. You come up with like this weird color coding, and it's like some of it makes sense, but it quickly spirals.
Yes, sir. Yes.
But overall, like I said, I mean, as much as I gripe, I did enjoy myself. It certainly is not going to be my main game, and it's certainly not something that I'm definitely not going to do a tournament of anytime soon. I think
40K anymore is best as a beer and pretzels game. Just go out, hang out with your buddies, have a good time. To go out for a big tournament of it, I don't know if I'm thinking in the same boat as you. I don't really have a desire to go out and do such a thing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, overall, I said, I mean, uh, the only thing I felt bad about is like I don't know what it was, but Saturday morning I woke up like I didn't sleep an ounce, and I was exhausted all day, and I felt like everyone else was in the same boat.
Yeah, I know Chuck was. I felt very tired by the end of that day. I was ready for a nap. We'll put it that way before we even got in the car to go home.
Yeah. Um, but like I said, overall, that Dave, thanks again for having us.
Yes, it was a great time.
Hopefully we're not too obtrusive at this stage of our lives, but yeah, that was it was a great time, and as much as honestly, if something happens next year where we can't go to Adepticon, I'd be happy to do that again, and I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't
no
be
big
upset
deal
for a
to me at
second.
all to go do something like that.
Yeah.
Be great.
All right, so let's get on to the news here. Just one moment here.
Right.
All right, so back to the way it was. All right, so back at the beginning of the month, we had a little quick article about the Middle Earth. There was a GT, and one of the main reasons why I wanted to bring it up is because my warband won.
There you go. Good.
Which is really funny because I haven't actually played I haven't played since the pandemic started. We had a group going in the area where we met once a month and played, and I was still really trying to get the hang of the game. Because this is the fiefdoms, which is a group of 3 individual fiefdoms of Gondor, and the synergies with them is ridiculous. So like each one of the main heroes of each of the main fiefdoms has an ability to give their bonus to everyone else on the team, but it's only like within a very limited number. So it's like, do you clump up? Do you have to move around? It's difficult, but
sounds like very much a chess army in that way.
Yes, very much so. So as my first real army where I'm really trying to learn it, it's very difficult to pick at everything up, but I love it. I love, yeah. I mean, there's honestly like the only thing I wish is we got a new Prince Imrahil army, or not army model. He was great for the time, but woo.
Yeah.
All right. So then, of course, everybody has a Idoneth army, and I am not getting an Idoneth army. Sorry, Dave.
Whoa. You now have an Idoneth model you at least have to paint.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Now, it might end up looking like this. This fire-based army
it's fire. It's great.
Yeah. I wouldn't be all that happy about all them yellows, but hey, that's what contrast is for.
There you go.
Okay, so let's see. So next up we have the White Dwarf, where it went over. Actually, this must have been just your issue, huh? Because it had both Harley Quinn.
Yeah, no, it had Harlequin kill team rules in it. It had the update for Khorne, and it also had some Warcry pieces for Deepkin and Fire Slayers in it as well. So it was like somebody said, hey, this is the White Dwarf that Cole needs to buy because it has all of his stuff in it. It was just fantastic.
So what do you think about your White Dwarf? I don't know all the details, but I know it's good, but it's certainly
it's certainly underwhelming compared to the Beasts of Chaos one we had gotten last time.
Honestly, I expect that to be kind of across the board.
I completely agree. The changes, I mean, they're all for the better. Nothing is a nerf, obviously. It still doesn't feel like they went for, hey, we want to help you out against magic, but it wasn't enough, I think, for Khorne. It's a lot of, hey, on a 6, you don't get affected by that spell, and for the army that really hates magic, maybe we should have moved that to a 5. I
Yeah.
feel like.
Yeah, we were talking about this as well. Like, they talk about the magic meta, and even though it's kind of faded a little bit, I think the only reason why it really faded is not necessarily because we've learned how to deal with it so much as people are just playing new armies. um,
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we have definitely moved into the stage of, whenever it's kind of moved in this Stormcast or Living Cities or Soul Blight, all those people that were playing the magic meta.
right, but
Yeah.
it's still there. It just isn't being played, at least not around us. And like,
Right.
it, I don't understand why we can't have these anti-magic armies like Khorne, dwarves, just lean into the dispel.
Right. They're just one of those things that, oh, I so happen to get matched up against the Techless army. Cool. I'm in a great spot, unless they want to buff themselves, in which case I actually have to fight them some.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, like one of the things that I think for Fire Slayers that would have been amazing, and not, I don't think it would have changed their placing, but I think it would have felt better, is if all priests had the ability to dispel one.
Certainly would not have hurt. Yeah.
Right, like dispel +2, just like the rune priest. But
Yeah.
yeah, what kind of specific, what do you think like the biggest changes? Because like I said, I don't really know exactly what they changed.
Not a whole lot, honestly. That, I'd say, is the singular biggest change.
Okay.
Is Yeah. So if you do ever get it on that 6, you'll get another Blood Tithe point. A couple of the what are they called? Battle tactics are doable. They're nothing that you're going to just automatically take, which I think if you're going to give them army specific ones, should always be the case if they're situational.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Other than that, it's pretty underwhelming, all told.
So they didn't listen to us at all, huh?
Not at all. Not even a little bit. Not yet. They're just waiting for whenever the book comes through. That's all.
They're saving it for the
This
big
is
boy.
just holding
that's
us
all.
out. This coming in, we've got at least a year for them to fix up that book, so they've got plenty of time to listen to Big M's.
Yeah. Well, I'll tweet it. I'll tweet it directly at them. It's
There you go.
so next up we had the must-watch: The Armoring of a Space Marine.
Yeah.
So you said you just watched this before we started recording?
Yep. Yeah, I finally got around to watching it. Pretty darn cool, especially considering all the lore and everything. I mean, that's about all I can say. Is really cool animation. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, this is definitely 10 out of 10.
Yep.
It feels weird that it's not connected to anything.
Yeah, it feels like something that you do this and then you say, and now for the short 3-part series we're going to do on Warhammer Plus on this, like something that's animated to this level on Space
Right.
Marines or something like that. Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, where's the Space Marine movie? Like,
Yeah,
not the
it doesn't
old
even
one.
have to be all that long. Another 10 to 15 minute length, just good film would be good.
And again, like I said, and then because they made a big deal about this, and I know they're proud of it, and they should be.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, you don't necessarily hype something like this. You just kind of put it out there, and
You're like, hey, isn't this cool? Yeah, that's really cool.
Right.
Thank you. All right. And
because after this, they did a making of video, and before this, they were like, hey, wait till tomorrow when we show you what we're going to reveal, and
right. And I'm sure the animation team really excited about what they did here, as they should. It is top notch for them.
Yeah, like I said, and again,
But it just felt like something that you put out and you go, and at the end you just put a tag of, and here's what this is announcing.
right. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, it felt odd. Again, absolutely top grade. I loved seeing it. I thought everything about it was amazing. It just seemed, like I said, just out of left field, and they hyped it a lot for Like, I think they hyped it to the amount that they hyped Army releases. Like,
Yeah, yeah, it felt like a hey, heads up, the preview's coming. You're like, or the pre-order, anything like that. Yeah.
all right. So moving along here, we have the announcements of the 2022 U.S. Open events. They are going the wrong way.
Yes, they need to realize that the East Coast is a thing. We would very much like for you to put one in Pittsburgh, Columbus, somewhere
Yeah.
around there should be okay with me. You know what? I'll even risk Philly for you. Uh,
Outside of Philly, you're right outside. I hate those roads, man.
no, I know they beat you up, but
I
I mean,
I remember the last time I went to PAX Unplugged, which is in downtown Philly. Um, I missed our hotel, and so I was just trying to, because it was all one way roads in downtown. I'm trying to figure out how to get back. So I'm like, oh, I'll just take the next direction,
take
whichever way it is, and then I'll just
you'll just
turn
loop
turn.
around. Yeah,
No, I had to go like 4 blocks away in every direction.
very nice.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. Like, again, the same issue that I have here is the same issue I had with the 2021 U.S. Open. Like, at least this is early.
Yeah,
But again, it's
earlier last year. I'll give them with everything that was going on in the world. Might not have been as easy to give us a heads up.
right.
But the first event was scheduled for May, and this got released in February. It's a little bit of a heads up, but it's definitely not what a lot of us are used to anymore in this hobby.
Right. I mean, this should have been U.S. Open 2022, and then just go ahead and announce the 2023 as well.
Right.
Like,
Or pending areas and dates and all that. Yeah.
right. I mean,
If
like,
you're not figured out with your hotel or your event.
I mean, again, this comes out on Friday, so on Wednesday, the Nova Open registry went live.
Yeah.
And that's in between August and September. So like, and again, on top of that, they also announced their dates.
Right. You've known their date for 6 months now at this point.
Right. It's, you got to let people prepare. Like, I mean,
Yep.
but I mean, again, at the end of the day, I'm glad they're having them.
Yes.
There's nowhere that I really want to go to.
Yeah. I don't know. Never been to Seattle. I've heard good things about just the state of Washington. So I think it'd be cool to go to it and see it. I don't know if I'm going to this year though.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
I was kind of hoping they were going to have another one in Texas this year and think about going to that, but yeah, I
Oh,
get them
yeah.
wanting to move it around.
Yep.
Well,
Hey, they're running out of area. Eventually, it's got to be on the East Coast next year, 2023.
I have a feeling you're right.
There we go.
Now, with that being said, do you like this where they're kind of just going around, or do you think, maybe once around and then 2024 start finding set locations so you have them in like each quadrant and one in the middle?
No, I actually think I do like the moving it around. I think for the vast majority of us in this hobby, to go to a major event is one of those, oh, maybe I can do it this year things, not a, oh, I'm definitely going to go every year type of thing. And if you keep moving it around, you'll get more of us in my mind. Now, would it hurt to have maybe 3 of these that are permanent homes with 2 roaming?
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I said, I mean, and I think it's very interesting because we are very opposite in that regard. It's like, for me, if I find a convention or tournament that I want to go to, I pretty much automatically in my mind turn it into an annual thing, whereas I know you are a year by year kind of guy.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
We'll see
like,
what's going on. Life is going to throw something at me. So,
like for me, I go, okay, well, I don't want to go to, I don't want to go that far on the other side of the country.
right.
So it would be
I don't
nice to
feel
know,
like doing
like,
the San Diego trip or anything like that. So it's just never going to be a thing. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't mind like the Virginia Open or the Kentucky Open or something that I know, okay, I'm willing, like, that's the extent of what I'm willing to drive to. So, I'll go there every year. But, and, to go 1 year and then the next year they, push it out further than I'm comfortable going, I don't know. I can see both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So moving right along, we got probably the thing we'll spend the most amount of time on here as far as the news goes. The Battle Scroll, the Hunt.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I guess we'll go over it real quick just in case anyone has had their head buried in the sand. GW has basically decided that as an extra step to balance, they're going to create two things. Priority targets and prime hunters. Priority targets are once killed, as long as it's not killed by a priority target, rewards extra victory points as determined by this chart. Most of them are only 1. Giants are 2, except for the war stumper. Prime hunters are essentially shitty armies that need the help.
Yeah, that's a way of putting it.
I think that's. I mean, okay. I'll get to it in a second here. I'm not keen on this, but I think that's pretty fair way to put it. Don't you?
Yeah. I think that's a nice way of putting how you feel about this. I think we both feel very similar that it's good that GW is admitting that there is a problem with some stuff. However, I don't think we believe that this is the way of going about it.
Yeah. Well, how about you go into a little bit of detail, because I got a lot of detail to go into here, and I don't want to step on your toes.
So, first thing, I want to talk about the Prime Hunters bit. I was very excited about that at first, and then I started trying to build lists with some of these. I believe Night Hunt is the only one out there in these that you can actually get the benefit over, but the rest of these, it is more of a, oh wow, you killed one of the prime targets. That's really good. It probably took you half your army.
Yeah.
So you're probably not winning that game anyway.
And what I think is funny is, like, Sylvaneth being on the list is a little weird, because people who play Sylvaneth get really good with Sylvaneth, especially with the Ilarial War Scroll update.
Yeah, I think there are a few players that we have out there who are very good with Sylvaneth. But I think as a whole, if you or I were told, hey, you have 2 weeks, read the Sylvaneth book, learn it, and go play, we would fall flat on our face.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much with any army.
Right. However, I feel like we feel confident enough that we could at least make games out of most armies.
Yeah.
I also think that a lot of these priority targets, yes, the extra point's nice. However, I think the vast majority of our games, it won't actually end up coming up. Now with the Storm Drakes and all of that, whenever I played that game down in LVO, I would have actually won my game had this been in place. So it's going to be one of those 1 out of every 5 games, I feel like this type of thing will come up. Yeah. Unless you're a Giants player, in which case you're showing up and giving up another 7 to 8 points extra just for rocking up to the table, which is odd.
This might be a little hyperbolic, but just shelve the Giants for now. They don't want that army to do well anymore. And what I think is funny is, like, they only do this now after Giants have been sliding.
Yeah, I think at least at the top tables, anyone who goes 3-2-4-1 probably has a Giant plan at this point.
Right.
And can, at the very least, even if it's a tough matchup for them, make a game out of anything that's going on with Giants. And if you can make a game out of anything with Giants, an extra 4 points very well may just make it impossible for the Giants player to win.
Right. All right, yeah, so, okay.
Go ahead.
So here's kind of my thought process is, now, you have to kind of divide it into two. Because there is the aspect of the impact of the game. I think there's very little impact of the game. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And other people have said it better where they're like, people already forget the monster points. So they're probably going to forget this point because it's just random war scrolls. I mean, it's somewhat random. Like, I don't know anyone that was really complaining about the Maw Crusher.
I mean, if you look at Adepticon that just happened this last weekend, there were a lot of Maw Crushers running around.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's always been the case. And I think if you
if you're running an Ironjaw's army, there's a Maw Crusher in there somewhere.
And if you make a Maw Crusher book and you make it so people don't, or if you make an Ironjaw's book and you make it so people don't want to take a Maw Crusher, you didn't write the book right.
You're probably correct.
So, like, the Maw Crusher's rough. But again, whenever you're talking about these high point single model units, they should be that way. You're sinking a quarter of your army into them. Like, now, the other aspect is from a game design point of view, and that's where I get upset. That's where I think this is poor design, because the one thing I've been hearing a lot about is, and I'm sure it's people just trying to stay positive, and that is, for the most part, the right way to do it. Unless you try to be positive, you're not going to find the positive. But what I keep hearing is, well, at least they're trying. Great. I don't care if you're trying anymore. Like, whenever you go to publication, we're past the trying stage. Like, you have testers for a reason. Like, if you wanted to have a secondary group test where, like, hey, Warhammer Plus members, look at this test material. Because at that point we could have told you then, this is a dumb idea and it doesn't do anything. Because again, like, they said, I don't think they said it, but I have heard it from several people that they've spoken internally that they want to keep this up to date quickly and rapidly. Mm-hmm. Well, so now you already have a problem with that. So quickly and rapidly means they're not waiting for results, and they're just choosing things at random, or they're just going off of what they think is going to be a problem. Or they wait too long and people get to run roughshod for 2-3 tournaments before something happens.
Which, personally, I think that's probably the way we should go, is let people run roughshod for 2-3 tournaments, because, honestly, especially someone who looks at Twitter, we do a lot of complaining and then we figure it out anyway.
Right.
But there are a couple.
And like I said, there's a couple issues with this. I keep wanting to say the big issue, but I keep wanting to say the big issue about several things. So the first big issue that comes to my mind is, like, this feels like you are picking on specific units, and you're picking on specific armies, and you're picking on specific players.
You're certainly picking on any Giants army out there right now, and Legion of the First Prince, your entire army list is down in Grand Alliance Chaos.
Right. So the issue is like, so you've basically stabbed at the Giants army, and why? Because they bought models that you produced with rules that you made up, that you've now had a general's handbook to try and correct. Like, these are issues that you're making, and so now you're punishing the people that were just playing. I look at it, and again, I don't care about giving up an extra command point, but my list right here, I use a Vanguard long strikes, and I use fulminators. I have 2 fulminators and 1 reinforced block of long strikes. It's not groundbreaking, it's not game breaking, it's what I need in my army to get some damage in there.
Right.
But so now if someone kills the long strikes, they get 2 points.
Yeah, which, to be fair, if someone was killing your long strikes anyway, you were probably losing that game.
Right.
So,
And that's exactly it. It's like,
right.
okay, well, if you kill my long strikes, now I don't have enough damage in my army to do what I need to do in order to have a chance at winning. And so, like, are you trying to make it so I don't bring those? Because, like, the other
I think in
ones,
a lot of cases, at least in the Grand Alliance Order, this 1 point thing is not enough of a deterrent for some of these units. If that is the case, is that you don't want people to bring these.
right? Which leads to the next point, where,
Yeah.
okay, so this was your grand idea, like, uh, this you should know from a fundamental perspective that like one victory point isn't enough. Like why you think that this is like it, let me back up. To me, it's telling that they thought that this would be a perfectly good first step. Because if that's what they think, then they're completely on the wrong path. This
Now,
isn't
if
going
this
to
is
do anything.
hey, step one, and we're going to take a stab at it, and we might be completely wrong, they probably should have let us know that. But I think that's at best what this is we're taking a stab at it, and we'll see what happens.
And again, like I said, I mean, like I've been saying for now, as long as this show's been going on, you're a multi-million dollar company. You shouldn't be taking stabs at the dark. You should have a little bit better idea. You've been doing
Yeah.
this for 30, 40 years. You should have rules writing on lock at this point.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Again, we now all have the digital app. If there's a problem with the War Scroll, just fix it, update it, and if you want to be special, release special War Scroll cards at your local Warhammer store that you can go and pick up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, there's no excuse for it at this point. This is stupid. It doesn't do anything. You're just wasting our time. If you wanted to do something like this, and I know that I brought this up to Chuck, and he said that this method would be too hard to balance. Where I said, okay, just make it so if a unit, regardless if it's a single model or reinforced or whatever, once it reaches a certain point threshold, then it is now a prime or priority target.
Right. Once it reaches 400 points or something like that, it
Right.
has become a priority target. Yeah.
Right. And so then that not only does that put most of the stuff on this list on that list, it also takes things that they missed, like a double reinforced unit of Sentinels.
Yeah.
Like it still gets those things that have been like that's another reason not to double reinforce things because that's another one of the issues. But yeah, like I said, it just seems silly, because then again, on top of that, now we have to go in. So here's our options. We could either we can all promise to be, super straight laced, and we're all going to let our opponent know when they beat a priority target to give them the points they need to beat us, or as you, the opponent, you have to know every single War Scroll on here, which is fine for right now.
Right. But what happens a year and a half from now? How does this list look?
Right.
Yeah.
What happens when the new Night Hunt book comes out, and we have to learn 3 things from that? What about the IDK? There's probably at least 3 War Scrolls on there that are going on here.
Yeah, I know of at least one. I'll give you one.
Well, I know that Eidolon and that turtle. I know you think the turtle's a little overpriced, but
Yeah, I don't think the turtle's going on there.
We'll see.
I think the king has already
Okay.
earned himself a spot on this. Yeah.
yeah. So, like I said, I mean, it's it just doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. I think it was spitting in the wind.
Yeah, I don't think I have too much else to add. I'm curious as to how this will go. I think for the vast majority of players, this isn't going to change their game at all, if they even think about it whenever they're playing their game.
I also like the hubris that they think that corn.
Yeah, that Corn is not on here as a Prime Hunter. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
The corn white dwarf was so good, we could take him off the Prime Hunters list.
You know what we're not sitting here saying, though? That the Beast of Chaos one wasn't so good that
No,
it should be on here,
if
which,
you,
hey, that's a good thing. I'm happy to see that. I'm happy that we're
right,
all in agreement there.
right
Like,
now
let's
the
get
other
there one bad army at a time. We'll get them off of here.
right now on the other side of things, if you can increase the rend to your entire army, and it's still bad.
Then you'd have done terrible. Yes, that would be terrible.
actually,
Yeah,
actually, we didn't really get to talk too much about that. I again, it
we
was a
didn't.
month ago, so I don't have it memorized. But like, this to me shows because whenever that book came out, I really liked it.
The original book for Beast?
Yeah, the last battle tome.
Right, yeah, yeah.
I thought it was really well written. I just thought it was undertuned.
Yeah, it was underpowered for what it was going into. That was for certain. It
Yeah.
didn't have any way of playing in what meta was there at the time. We had activation wars
Activation
going on
Wars,
full
yeah.
on and everything like that. It was a melee army,
Yeah,
so it just felt underwhelming. And I think that trend just kind of continued as range started to become more of a thing after it and everything like that. So
yeah.
I think it just never had its chance in the sun.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would have liked to have seen done in the War Scroll was something to allow them to reinforce more.
Um, yeah, I can see that definitely. They have like some of their small like Ungor units or something like
Yeah,
that. None of the major ones, but just the tiny little hordes. Maybe that's something
yeah. Even
you
if they
can
would have
give to
added
like
like a little
them and
thing,
Skaven, something like that.
yeah. Even if they would have added like, um, 2 Ungor units may be reinforced for free once.
Yeah, that'd be entertaining.
I don't
Yeah.
know, something like that. But let's we beat that to death. So let's move on here. Oh, good. Another. Don't get off your soapbox yet. So we'll touch on this briefly. Cole,
hmm
did you know that Games Workshop stands with Ukraine?
Yes, yes, I do. And I mean, it's one of those things that every company's doing stuff like this nowadays. So if you aren't the company to say something,
Cole,
you look like the bad guy a lot of times.
I
So
can't help but notice that you haven't said that you stand with Ukraine.
I stand with Ukraine.
Okay, all right, we'll see about that. Yeah, I I don't want to delve too much. It's just dumb. It's dumb. Leave the Russian people alone. Don't you think they have it bad enough? Also, on top of that, with
Right.
their hyperinflation right now, you think they can afford your shit? Jesus Christ.
No, no. I
Fuck
mean,
it.
to be fair, for a lot of the people, the regular average day people in Russia are not having the best time either. Yes, the people of Ukraine have it worse right now, but
Right,
just
like literally the one time where where they could probably really use something like this, to help distract them from their day to day. And of course, I was reading somewhere that I think there's already some sort of embargo where they can't sell to Russia anyways.
more than likely they won't be able to. Yeah.
So it's like,
I haven't paid enough attention to what's going on with the UK now that it's not part of the EU and what they're doing. But
yeah, again, I don't know anything about it, but I read it as a quick comment on something, and I was just imagining like being grounded and not being allowed to go outside, and then saying, "Well, I refuse to go outside because of melanoma," and be like, "You're not allowed to go outside anyways. What are you talking about?"
right.
All right, so let's move it on here. So we'll bring it right around here. March 17th, we came out with some really awesome cosplay.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
This dude made a phenomenal Primaris Space Marine.
Yeah.
Man, what's funny is like, I think if it again, before I say another word, this is a million times better than anything I could ever do. With that being said, if he could figure out a way to make that helmet just a tiny bit thinner so he could make it a little smaller, it would be right on proportion. You look at the one without the helmet on, and it's like the proportions are spot on.
No, I agree with him. Without his helmet on, it is the model's proportion spot on. I think the issue is he owns a head, and that
Yes,
is why
yes.
the helmet cannot
Oh no, trust me.
work perfectly. Yeah.
In my yesteryear, I did plenty of cosplay where I was using literally 2-inch foam rubber to make armor, and it looked horrible. So even considering that the closest thing to a comment or critique is that the helmet looks a little big when on, that is nothing.
Yeah,
Like even
really.
whenever it's
Who
slung
are
on
we to
his,
say such a thing? Yeah.
even when it's slung on his hip, it looks awesome. Like
Yeah, no. It looks
it's
great. The plasma pistol and the
oh yeah.
sword look awesome. Like, it's cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, right now he's basically right there living every Warhammer fan's dream right there. I
Yep.
love all the little weathering effects he put on there.
Great weathering. The purity seals look awesome. Like, you knocked it out of the park. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. Can't wait to see your Terminator armor.
Yeah.
All right, so then they showed us. So Arena of Shades that's coming out. It's a thing with Daughters versus Ghosts. So the first thing they showed us here was the Coven Throne Guard or Graven Throne. Hold on, Graven Throne Guard. Now I'll say so. They announced they revealed these at LVO,
Yes.
and I thought they looked kind of weird. Like,
Hmm. I mean, I'm all for it. I get the idea. It feels like they are an evolution for what that army maybe should have been whenever it was first sculpted, but they didn't have a straight place to go at the time.
now let me just throw this out here, and let me hear what you think here. So putting the effects, the spectral bolts in mind, where the unit
Yeah.
can shoot enemy units uh, even if they're not visible,
Hmm.
and they do not get cover saves. Imagine instead of them lugging around what I can only imagine is undead crossbows. What if these were like small little wizards or something, and they were like having like phantasmal bolts hovering above their head as they like were waving their hand?
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
Right.
That or maybe having them throw spectral daggers or
Yeah.
javelins or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the spectral bolts thing in there, I think it's an okay rule. I don't think it's a smart rule,
Yeah.
but it's only 12 inches,
No,
so
I can't. Yeah, that was the other issue I had with it. Was it was only a 12-inch shot for a crossbow, which feels short for AOS land.
and
Maybe
again,
there will be two different modes to shoot this, and I'm missing something right now.
and again, once again, if they had like spectral lances or daggers or just energy bolts, okay, 12 inches, yeah, it's a made up ghost
Yeah,
thing,
that's
sure.
cool. Yeah.
But like also 4s and 4s.
Yeah, I'm not excited about the unit. Whenever I saw that, I was scared of them whenever they first got previewed, and then I saw fours and fours, and I went, "Whew, okay, we're all right."
I personally feel like it should have been 3s and 3s, and if you need to use the spectral bolts ability to hit something, it's -1 to hit, -1 to wound.
I'd have been cool with that. Yeah.
Easy peasy. I don't,
Yep.
I don't know why. I don't know why they're like, let's make a unit. Aha, then let's give it the same thing that we gave Sentinels that everyone's pissed off about. Oh, let's make them 4s and 4s so people don't bitch about it.
Yeah. I mean, fair. We're not going to complain about them,
Yeah.
except for to say it's not good. So,
Who knows? Maybe there'll be battle line and you can take 100 of them in one battle, and then that way,
yes, maybe they are 80 points for the 5-man unit, and we're sitting here completely incorrect about what we're talking about.
if they're 80 points, man, that's not bad. I can take that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Only time will tell.
Yes.
Okay, I think we are into the previews here.
Yeah.
So, well, okay. So, real quick before we get into the Necromunda stuff, what was your takeaway overall from the previews?
It didn't feel like there was a whole lot going on, at least for AOS. I wasn't overly excited about anything except for, say, the Chaos Knights.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just felt like we've had bigger reveals at Adepticon before,
Yeah,
so I was expecting more. I think is the issue. There's nothing wrong with any of these reveals. I don't think. I think
correct.
it's
Yeah, I
just
agree.
that I went, oh, it's Adepticon. I'll get more. I think that's pretty well where I'm at.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that is something I agree with completely because it does feel like Adepticon's the one where they go and try and swing for the fences. And again, I totally understand. 2 years ago is whenever lockdown began,
Yep.
so all work stopped.
Yep.
Uh, but again, this is where they could have shared plans.
Yes. Yes, if you give us a roadmap, even a vague one like we've gotten for our codexes over in AOS, and said, hey guys, we all know what happened, and you have a pretty good idea it's going to affect you right now.
Right.
So here's about what we're expecting. I think
Heck,
that goes a long way with the community.
announce the Q4 battle tomes.
Yeah, or at least let us know if there will be any in Q4, or let us know, hey, this will be an Order and a Destruction battle tome.
What
Enjoy.
didn't they do that? They were getting
Well, we
Order and
had
Chaos.
for. Oh, okay. I thought that was for Q3,
Yeah,
but
whatever it
I
is.
might
But
be
just like
completely wrong.
those, let us know what those are because there's
Yes.
not another event between now and when they should be around the corner.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I agree. And I just based on what they had, I think if they this was like the first time where they released stuff and gave like no information.
Yeah.
It was like, no, no, if you have less stuff, you have to give more info. It's not
Yeah, I
less
think.
stuff, less info.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I think they are still living in a very uncertain time over at GW as far as when things will come out and what all's going on might be the case. And so that's why we have both less things and less info.
Well, I mean,
So,
we'll get to it whenever we get to the AOS stuff, but like,
mhm.
can you
Yeah,
go?
okay. I
Can you
would have
give?
wanted some more
Yeah,
info on that.
can you give me a second sentence of information about the AOS announcements? Like,
Yeah.
all right. So starting off here with Necromunda here, we did get our Ash Wastes box set.
Yeah.
Honestly, this might be my favorite. Like for some of I don't play Necromunda, and I have no intention to start, but this might be my favorite reveal.
I mean, to be fair, the guys like on the weird bug creatures, probably my favorite models from this whole set. It
Oh
is
yeah,
really cool.
I mean
Uh,
that's they're like these like sand fleas are like.
yeah.
I'm looking at one here. This poor little leg is bandaged. Who the hell shot a sand flea, you bastards? Like,
Yeah, I like that flea. Don't be hurting him.
and I like the people too. Like, I don't know if that is.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a helmet or if they're like mutants or. I
I'm
assume it's a
thinking
helmet.
that's a helmet. Yeah, I think it's something because most stash wastes on Imperial worlds are supposed to be like way too toxic to breathe, really.
Yeah.
So,
Now, if that was bug people, though, how cool would that be?
oh boy, that'll be it. One day they'll give us the helmetless version and we'll go, what's under there?
And I love the dune buggies with the guns on
Yes,
the back and the harpoon.
very cool.
And the
Yeah,
terrain is just awesome. So cool.
yep, very imaginative. I love it.
Yeah, I said it makes me want to play Necromunda, but not. But I'm not going
Not quite. Yeah,
to. And then we had our bunt of the evening with the Underworlds.
yeah,
Why?
wasn't overly excited about it.
Why did they start with the lead? You know, like
Yeah, yeah, no, I kind of agree. I think that especially since this was so small,
yeah,
you lead with this. Agreed.
because so for people that don't remember, they started off by showing this guy here with the big monstrous Frankenstein arm, or
Yeah,
potentially orc arm. No, he has 5 fingers. Never mind.
yeah,
But orc esque arm,
hmm
and then like no one else is anywhere near as interesting.
yeah, yeah. Agreed.
And like not even the fucking Gene Stealer Necromancer.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I mean, he's cool. He seems like he thinks he's in control and everything, but I don't know. He doesn't seem out there. enough.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think he would be perfectly fine if all of the other zombies were weirder.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Like you
Yeah,
have
if all of them
the
had different body parts smashed together and things like that,
yeah, like
we'd look at him and go, "Yeah, he brings some balance to it."
right, right. I mean, I just imagine like a giant with like, or not a giant. I imagine like a zombie with again, iron jaw arms and like hobgrot legs.
Mm. Or stitch an Iron Jaw's head onto a human's body or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, but
And again, I still want to know where's the other races? Are humans the only ones that die?
well, they're the only ones that come up as zombies, apparently.
I guess. Well, all right. And then here's your big exciting one.
Yeah, I was really excited about the knights, and the Chaos Knights I think look really cool and just badass. It's probably, if I do buy another 40k army, I'll probably buy into this. It just way too cool for me.
So let me see here. So we got the one with the tusks and the tentacles and the
Yes.
vultures.
Yes,
And
I
we
think
got
the best part is just all the piping up at the top of
yeah.
him. Just, oh, I love it. It's a great model.
Now is that one your favorite, or do you like the
Yeah.
the leaner one with the giant skull head?
No, definitely the big guy. The
Definitely
little
big guy.
one looks like, oh, I forget what they're even called.
Knights.
Yeah, this is a smaller knight though. You can get him, can take him in a group of two. I can't even remember what their name
Oh
is
yeah, I
now.
don't remember them.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
I think they're cool. I've never been a huge fan of the knights. Like, I guess I like all the mech stuff in anime. so I have
okay.
so I kind of come to the table with a different set of expectations, and it's cool. I can appreciate it like that. One of those people that made the giant knight out of a car. I could
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
the size of that.
Hmm.
I remember the first time I went to Adepticon, they were doing a apocalypse game, and someone had made their own. I forget which level Titan, but it was about three
Like
and
an
a half feet
emperor or
high.
something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
So I can definitely appreciate the grandeur of it, but yeah. Other than
right.
that, like if I got this for free, I would probably put it on eBay.
Gotcha.
Not out of spite, though. I promise.
All right.
All right. So then, Blood Bowl was actually kind of surprising.
Yeah.
I think the Vikings are kind of cool.
Yeah.
Or Norse. Sorry, Norse guys are kind of cool.
Yes, don't be go getting yourself in trouble. I love that we're lugging our ale in there with us too and everything. It's great.
I like the guys with like claws and fangs. Like,
Hmm.
was there a non-chaos Norse army in fantasy?
In fantasy, no, but I think back even in old Blood Bowl, there was always a Norse team you could take.
Okay.
So they were still from the North, still chaos, but just the people who lived there.
I'll tell you, man. I'm getting to the point where I really, really wish they would let some Blood Bowl spill into AOS.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Um,
that'd be a fun one.
I love.
I don't know how we figure that one out as far as the lore goes, but
Well, I mean, as far as that goes, I'm just talking more aesthetics. Like
okay.
it's for me. Like I kind of feel like whenever they go back and do an old army,
Hmm.
we get some of the Warhammer fantasy aesthetic
Yeah.
with the AOS style and skill.
Yeah, because definitely the skill is raised since these models, the first time around, these would have been shown.
And I guess kind of skill's the wrong way to just put it. I guess
Well,
technology.
the technologies
Yeah.
come up and everything like that. Not to put down the original artists or
Right.
anything like that.
I
But
mean, again,
just the
I think
resources that we have makes such
to be
just
clear,
better models now. Yeah.
I think the ones that were sculpting little figures out of pewter and clay had a much harder job and did a much better job with the tools they had.
That's fair.
But no, I mean, I would like to see like this aesthetic where it's like yes, there's weird stuff in AOS, but hey, there's also some normal stuff that looks really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, I've been saying this for years as well. Like, I would love to get some cool looking humans on the table.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, and the beer boars
I love the
also
beer
a
boars.
plus. They were great. Good little mascots.
I wouldn't mind getting these as objective markers.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh, there you go for a narrative game. You
Yeah.
every
You're after your kegs of ale as those run around. Yes.
every hero phase 2d6 and scatter die.
Oh, there we go.
All right, then we got on to our AOS reveals, where we got revealed. I assume that this puts my assumption correct that we're staying in Gur.
Yeah, I'd say if we're releasing this guy this late into our time in Gur,
Yeah.
and you're going to release this in probably within 3 to 6 months, we're going to leave
Right.
easily. Yeah, you've messed up if that's what this is. So
what do you think of the model?
the model itself. So the moment I saw this, I went, "Is that a wind spirit from? What are they? Lumineth?"
Mm-hmm.
It just gave me that feel, that spiral. So I thought this had something to do with Haish whenever I just saw a picture of the model at first. So, I mean, it's a cool idea. I don't know. It doesn't quite do it for me personally.
Yeah, I'm not overly impressed with it. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
I think the problem is it's a little too endless spelly for me.
Okay. For something that, well, I guess we don't fully understand what it is. It's
Right.
supposed to be a spirit, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like when it first came out, I was
Gur.
like, okay, are we getting new Gur endless spells then? And then
Right.
and they're like, no, it's a part monster and part spell, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I think having it a little bit more formed would have helped with that feeling.
Because again, like, I think the invocation, oh crap, what's the guy called? The magma monster from Fire Slayers. I think he looks more like a part monster, part spell to me.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
It also just feels weird that there's just one. Like, this comes off to me as like it's from like, this looks to me like it's destruction, but of course it's Gur.
Right. So fair.
I kind of wouldn't have minded if they would have had like one for each Grand Alliance. And then, like, if they wanted to make it so you can take whichever one you want, that's fine, but like, give me some.
Yeah,
direction.
especially with all the different types of beasts that would be running around Gur. I feel like you could have given us like a cat one too, or something like that.
Yeah, like some sort of large cat predator or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see. We don't know anything about it because they didn't tell us anything about it.
Yeah, we really didn't get a whole lot, sadly.
Then we got a terrain box that is just weird. Like, again, we're going back to the well of those constructed walls and the statue with the human stormcast thing.
Yeah.
And then we also add in one stack of boxes, one skeletal remain, and one shrine of Luminor with a stormcast thing on top.
Yeah, which sadly, like the stack of bones thing doesn't really do anything for a game of AOS, and the shrine doesn't do much. So, like, maybe you can make yourself a scatter piece out of all that, but
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, man. Like, I look at the bones, and I'm like, in all honesty, I would have been more excited for an entire set of bones and rocks and stuff like that.
Yeah, give them good bases and everything so they're useful and all that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because then you have the beginnings of, hey, here's Gur scenery. Wait till next year when we go to Shaiish and we have Shaiish scenery.
Right, and everything's completely different. Yeah.
And then last, they announced Thondia, Season of War.
Yeah.
I love the idea that they're bringing back a way to create our own hero.
Yes. Yes, I am missing that from AOS too.
Um,
Um, yeah, we'll see how this is this going to be like Broken Realms or anything like that? Is kind of, I guess, my question right now.
yeah, because that's the thing. Like,
Am I going to need this book?
um, I'm going to venture a guess and say yes. I think
You're
this is.
probably right.
I have a feeling that I'm hoping. Let's put it this way. I'm hoping maybe there's some more match play. I'm hoping match play battle plans, but I'm hoping there are more generic narrative battle plans because one of
Yes.
the biggest disappointments I have of um, the dumb Broken Realm stuff was like it was like, oh, here's your battle plan for your ogres versus your this and that, and I'm like,
But I don't have one of those armies. Yeah.
right, and I'm like, okay, and that like you gave me a campaign which was a really cool idea, and then you were said, oh, if you want to participate in this campaign, here's the armies you need, and it's
Right.
like, and yes, you can substitute them, but
Mhm.
it takes a little bit out of it whenever you're
Right.
yeah. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm not excited, but I am looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think you're probably right. I think this is, well, I'm hoping this is mostly a narrative book myself, but we shall
And
see.
then we got the undead boat that I got right.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Uh,
did.
what do you think of the undead boat?
I forget what the endless spell is where the guy is rowing the boat, but that guy apparently got very angry and up and joined the night hunt. Because
Got a
that's exactly
promotion.
what this looks like to me.
Yes, I agree. I agree. It looks exactly the. He just got a promotion.
Yep. Yeah.
I think it's okay. They call it a centerpiece model, so like,
Curious how big it is then.
right? That means like to me, a centerpiece model is big, and this model does not
Yeah.
look that big to me.
Yeah, I feel like we already have stuff kind of this size in Night Haunt. I forget what the easy push fit model is with the wings and everything now off
Yeah,
the top of my head. I don't mess around with Night Haunt enough to know, but
I would have liked to
yeah,
have seen this next to like Lady Oleander or something.
yes, that'd have been a good one for size comparison.
All right, and then of course there was the big reveal of the whole evening, Horse
Yeah,
Heresy Second Edition.
yeah. If you're
Um,
a Horus Heresy fan, hey, they didn't forget about you. They still care about you.
yep, I think it's just fine. I think
Yep.
I good for you, Horse Heresy players.
Yeah. Plastic Beaky update,
I
awesome. So good for Space Marine players.
I think my biggest concern is Horus Heresy players are super dedicated and are super passionate. And GW has not been in a place as of late where they have been super passionate about rules writing. It's like they come up with a gimmick and then they run with it. And I think if they come up with a gimmick for Horus Heresy, I think it's going to fall apart.
Yeah, that will be the problem, is especially since Horus Heresy has to wait so much longer for updates and things like that. If they get it wrong anywhere or something starts to lag behind, it will really lag for the Horus Heresy
Now,
community.
with that
So,
being said, the rumors that I'm seeing are
mhm.
stating that essentially the first line of everything should be out between June and September.
That's pretty cool. If they are actually going to be moving that fast and getting everybody their stuff that quick,
Yeah.
awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah, I the rumors are stating that there's going to be like a loyalist book, a trader book, and a other armies of the Imperium book.
Okay.
Which, my God, if they did it that way, Please.
I mean, that's probably a good thing for Horus Heresy.
Yeah.
So
Now, I didn't pull it out to go over it, but that the Horus Heresy Marine they showed being like just a smidge shorter than a Primaris Marine.
yeah,
Like, can we just stop the pretense now? Like, can we stop pretending that like, oh, we were actually just turning the page and we weren't just upscaling our Marines.
I mean, yeah, I hear you, but they definitely have written a lot of lore for the reason of the Primaris Marines at this point. So
Don't worry
they're
about going
here.
back and changing it, but let's just not lie. Let's just
Yeah.
be honest to ourselves.
Uh,
So let's see. Okay, what on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being it's going to be my new game, and let's say here we'll even number it a little bit. 10 is it's going to be my new game. 7 is going to be I can't wait to start a Horus Heresy army. 5 being a if Chuck makes us, I'll consider it. Where are you? And then 1 is like you can't make me play this game.
oh, I'm thinking I'm at a 3, maybe a 4.
I think I'm in the
Myself.
exact place, same place.
Yeah.
Like if I can use my Custodes, sure.
Right. Yeah. If I can go grab all my old Marines, gussy them up a little bit, and everyone's cool with that, I'll probably play.
No.
If I need to be going and buying new models for it, yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah, that's same here. Like, as much as I want to play it, as much as I would like to be part of it, part of the team and part of the group, I don't have room for the models. I don't have time to paint it. I already have a million things going on. Like, I'm really excited for people that do like this because it's such a niche game that had so much love put into it that I would hate to see it fizzle. Like I feel like it has been for a while.
Yeah, especially for that community, because just like you said, the people who are in the Horus Heresy are into it. They are great community. If you're curious about it, those guys, I'm sure, would be very happy to welcome you in.
Yeah, go to Adepticon, wait till you see weird looking Space Marines, and go, hey, can you tell me about your chapter? Just go ahead.
Boom.
Yeah.
Done. Yep, you're in.
All right, so one thing I thought was fun here, they did come out with a test your loyalties quiz.
Yeah.
So let's do it real quick here. Hold on, let me find it. Okay, so this takes us to the Horus Heresy web page, thehorusheresy.com. Okay, discover your legion. Okay, we're gonna begin. I hope this is recording. It's gonna be really bad if it isn't. All right, so Cole, are we? Horus the War Master has communed with dark powers and torn the Imperium asunder. Do we think disloyalty is unforgivable, or humanity must be freed from ignorance?
I think that disloyalty is unforgivable. You have to listen to the Emperor personally.
Now, I agree from an individual standpoint. However, we are part of the Strength Hammer Underground, where we literally broke away from the Emperor of Strength Hammer.
Okay, so we need to be going over and letting everyone know what's really up.
Yeah. Okay. So now, with that being said, are we scrambling the inventory? Are we just taking our models and throwing them across the hill?
Yep.
All right. So scans of the battlefield have detected enemy troop movement in an unexpected quarter. Would we scramble the inventory in?
The infantry, yes.
The inventory or tech support, which
I mean, personally, we drive a lot whenever we go to events.
We do drive
So
really good.
You and I would probably hop in a vehicle and get going.
Armored support it is. Oh boy, 3 decisions here. Okay. It seems your enemy has left a vital position vulnerable for a counterattack. Would you launch covert operations to sever their supply lines and sow discord and confusion? Advance slow and steady. Discipline and training will win the day. Actually, it'd be better to scramble rapid response infantry units for a raid.
I mean, I don't think either of us are going to try and sneak around the whole problem. We'll probably just slow and steady march our way through the front door and call
Yeah.
it good.
So that's kind of how I was thinking. I was like, thinking about the channel. We are
Yep.
advancing slow and steady, but we're not gaining any grounds. So technically, it could be considered. This could be considered a covert channel. So I wasn't sure which way to go. What do you think? Still advance?
Yeah, we're going to advance.
Okay.
We're not going to be good at it.
You just
but we're
don't want to be
gonna
Night
try.
Lords. That's all.
You're darn. I mean, if you really want to be Night Lords, we'll be covert.
Reinforcements have arrived. Plasma Caliver or a Volkite Culvern. Culverin.
Don't have much of a
Plasma it is, because that's the one I
preference.
know.
Fair enough.
All right, you're fighting an army that's well equipped and committed to their cause. Stand strong, use willpower and weight of fire to break their resolve and burn them out of their bunker. Use elite units to claim key strategic positions, trusting them to give you the advantage. I'm with with how we've already covered battle plans. I'm feeling willpower.
Yeah, I have to say, same thing. We're going to slog it. It'll be fine.
What do you want supporting your front lines? Contemptor Dreadnought or Sakaran Battle Tank?
Contemptor Dreadnought might be the cooler model,
I agree.
but I'd much rather having a large battle tank come and
Well, we
mess
went
everyone up. Yeah.
Let's see. Would you rather protect the weak and punish the wicked with courage, flames, and fearsome resolve, or spread twisted doctrines to rouse your allies and subjugate your enemies? Boy, I could say we do both.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I want to say we're the first one, because we don't go too crazy on here. But it's up to you.
Oh, boy. All right, audience, I'm going to roll a die.
Uh-oh.
Even, we protect the weak. Odd, we spread twisted doctrines. Even.
Alrighty.
All right, so the Big M's Power Hour is salamanders.
Okay. That's what my chapter calls its primary home. So yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm surprised that we got that after saying that we were siding with Horus, as salamanders are loyalists, but it's cool.
Yeah, I think it just puts a tick in certain boxes. I don't think it is
more than likely does. Yeah,
yeah,
it doesn't split it down the middle the moment you hit that.
which I like.
Yeah.
I wish they had a little bit more options to help get a little bit more of a diverse answer base, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a fun little thing.
All right. So moving right along here, we're almost done. Play organized games, win organized prizes. They announced organized play again. This is you get organized play kits for your local organizations. I have to. It doesn't say that this is for.
I think this can be for non-Warhammer GW stores, as far as I'm aware. From what I got from it.
I don't know. I'm torn. I don't know if they would have it be for the stores or not, because I know a lot of them don't have room to play, but who knows?
Whenever they did the Kill Team tournament box, our store was able to get one, and we are not a GW store. So I'm hoping this is the same idea.
It's definitely geared towards non-Warhammer stores. I'm just wondering if they also do the Warhammer stores or not. So we'll see. Like I said, keep an eye out. These are fun to do. I know we got a Underworlds one when they were trying to do that. So keep an eye out for it, peeps.
Yep.
And then, of course, this week we got our Sunday preview, where they're already releasing the Arena of Shades, where you're getting your Daughters of Cain and your Nighthaunt stuff. Mm-hmm. The hero looks... The Daughters of Cain hero... Jeez, oh man, they released an article about that, I think today, that I forgot to pull up, where... What is it, that you roll a die... plus something, and if you get over the hero's wounds, you just kill it?
She's just dead. Yep. Something like that. She's just whipping the people to death. It's great.
So the surprise 40K terrain is really cool.
Yeah, actually, and I think surprisingly, it's actually usable.
Yeah, I think so too. Um, I
So,
I have I have an unassembled box of the oh man, my brain just blanked. Not tunnels, trench. The
oh
trenches.
yes,
I think that would go pretty well together.
yeah, that would fit pretty well with it.
And then, of course, if you want old, ugly Eldar, now's your time.
Hey, now wait a second here.
Including these dumb jester-looking motherfuckers. What the hell's
Hey
that
now.
shit? All right. And then finally, one of the things they came up with today was they showed the Golden Demon winners.
Yeah.
So we'll go over them real quick here because these are all so far beyond what either one of us could do.
Never even going to attempt this level.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I mean, in all honesty, I admire this level, but I certainly do not aspire for it,
No.
nor do I have any desire to paint this well.
Yeah.
Just the mere pressure of expecting that to happen again is...
Yeah. No, these are amazing, and like I can't say, oh, this should have actually won gold instead of being silver or anything like that. I mean, these are all just awesome.
Now, I will say, as a fan of Tabletop Minions, Uncle Adam, seeing Sam Lenz's name on here a lot, I have to give a small applaud to him.
Yeah.
I love all the models he did. Now you were talking about not being able to pick one over the other. I do have to point out the skink that got gold over the insane, like, chromatic, what's his face from Slanesh.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
I mean, unless, I don't know.
Yeah, that Sigvald is very impressive, but
like this Sigvald looks like the cover of a heavy metal album. Like,
yeah, there you go. That's the best way to describe it. Yeah. So we know where Matt would have voted.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, again, again, Mr. Garza. Let me show you all the respect in the world. It is. I would never be able to paint a skink of this level.
No.
But it just does not look as technically accomplished,
right?
As the other one. I love the vampires. If Robin, if you want to either try painting another warband like this, or if you just don't have room for these, let me know. I'll
oh, there you go. Yeah,
I'll take them off your hands.
Yeah. Now I love how all of the unit ones were all the Underworlds warbands. So
oh yeah, I mean,
there we go, spot on.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, they're all so cool. And the large model that won the I wish they would have put the name of the model on here because I'm looking for it.
What that's
and I'm not seeing it, so it's blanking.
Yeah.
I love this model in the first place, and I love the colors they chose.
Yeah, it's a Mind Stealer Sphinx or Sphinx. Yeah.
And we got Mangler Squigs, of course, and you can't go a year without Great Unclean One. Now I have to say, like, so Sam Lenz again got bronze on this one.
But that's pretty cool.
Like, getting bronze on a Great Unclean One painted in the typical Nurgle scheme, that's saying something.
Yeah, no, I have to agree.
And
probably all that freehanding on the banner and everything, and there's Nurglings holding this guy up.
Like I said, I mean, because again, to me, I feel like from my exposure, it's like one half talent, one half shock.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
going just, hey, this is what Nurgle's supposed to look like. This is what everyone knows Nurgle looks like, and I'm tired of lying about it. This is what you're getting, and like, and actually getting awarded for it, top marks.
Yep.
Then we got a little bit of Middle Earth. Again, people love painting these armies of the dead, man, and this is awesome.
Yeah.
There was no Rangers, so I'm a little disappointed by that. But everything else, again, I'm happy to see it get some attention here.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do we get? Ooh, that's a really cool diorama with the. That's a terrible angle.
Yes, not a good angle for the mother and father duo going in there, but
father and daughter.
That one.
That's the one. Terrible angle, awesome idea. I can see it in my mind. That's I love the close quarters combat here. I'm not really sure what's going on with the Space Marines versus the Death Guard.
I mean, I want to go back and look up some of the old box art from that
I'm sure.
start
I bet
set. I bet you it is real close to that.
And then, of course, the last one was Saint Celestine fending off the Pancors.
Yep, very cool. The duels are also very cool.
Honestly, like, this is this idea here of the duel of Space Wolves versus Dark Angels is like, I assume that Chuck has stopped watching at this point, but like he could probably get some leverage if he's like, I'm doing Dark Angels, I want you to do Space Wolves.
Okay.
That might
that might cause something to happen.
Yeah, that might cause some issues. Oh wow, look at this, the one with Sanguinus.
Oh yeah.
Whew, like even like having the actual plinth itself being destroyed, such a smart idea. I would have never thought of it in a million years.
No, it's great. I love it.
And then of course the now obligatory Sylvaneth versus Gratz.
Yeah. Hey, it was a good box set, and it just showing everyone how good it was. That's all.
Yeah. And then I saw this the small scale, the little Titan that Sam Lenz did. Just love it.
Jeez, he has been painting.
I'll tell you, man. Like if you literally go through, I didn't even point out. I think there was like one or two that I missed.
Good for him.
And then the Youngbloods getting
which probably at a level, level
already,
I'm not going to achieve.
Me.
So I mean, good for you, man.
I think we need an age here where it doesn't count.
I don't think you're going to get one.
And then the Sword Slayer being that. Okay, so
that skink must just be perfect. Like there is not a single detail on there.
Again, Mr. Garza,
slightly incorrect.
I could never achieve this in a million years. So this is purely for comedy's sake. But this skink must have been sitting on $100 bill. All right. No, look. I mean, that's so cool that he has that sword. So well done, man.
Yep.
All right. So that was again some. That was quite some news there. So
it was.
Let's go back in time. We're going to go back to the beginning of February, right where we left off for Rumor Engines. We're going to knock some shit out here. Okay. So, are you looking at February 8th?
Yes, sir.
All right. What do you think this is?
February or March 8th?
February 8th.
Give me a second. This isn't the little bat in the beard, is it?
Nope. This is the pile of crap.
Oh. Well. Give me a while. You might just have to get your thoughts on it.
Just start looking for the 15th, because this one is a No brainer. There's been
Okay.
rumors about an Imperial Guard refresh, which happened after I said that we should get it. This is
Okay.
absolutely what it's from. You can see the gas can that they love putting on all of the tanks, and you can even see the grenade launcher clip. There's nothing else this could be.
Okay.
All right, moving along to the 15th.
Yeah, and I'm definitely there now. So,
Okay.
this is some sort of trumpet in my mind for one of the new demons.
This
Um,
this is confirmation that we are getting a Slanesh model, because this, boom, is his dick.
there we go. I don't know if it's quite that, but it's terrifying looking.
Ladies, leave it in the comments. All right, moving along to the 22nd.
22nd.
This is the one that you were excited about at the time.
Oh yes, I was excited about this. This I was hoping was Valkia the Bloody and her wing. I'm thinking it's probably just a Chaos Space Marine wing,
Yeah, I'm like,
though.
I think it's
So
that Chaos Space Marine they showed at the end of the of that
yeah,
trailer.
I think it is too. Sadly,
Right,
hopes shot down.
March 1st. It's just a doodad. I mean, it looks like an armored glove, so I would assume it's
Yeah, I mean it is
probably.
an Imperial design of some sort.
Do you think it's
Make
Space Marine or do you think it's Imperial? Because I don't remember
um
the Imperial Guard having.
well, if we're calling the one from earlier Imperial Guard, I think this could be some sort of veteran squad Imperial Guardsman of some sort.
Fair enough. We'll crank it up to Imperial Guard. All right, and then we have a thing in hair.
Yeah. Um, I don't know what this thing is. Uh, heck if I know. It is some sort of beard, though. I think that is a nose just above its head there. So
I'm wondering if this is a
it's
Oathbreaker.
that's what I was gonna say. Is this Chaos Dwarves?
The only thing I don't know is like what this solid piece is on the left is.
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain either. It almost looks like it could be bone or a tusk or something like that.
Yeah,
So
I don't know because it looks smooth. Like, I don't know. We'll find out when the time comes.
yeah.
All right, over to the 15th.
Okay, I think this is Imperial Guard again.
I'm
However,
hoping
this
it's
is
Rough Riders.
yes, this is a Rough Rider spear.
I want it
That's
to be
what I
Rough
want this
Riders
to be.
so bad. I love the
Agreed.
idea of friggin' horseback riding in 40k. Like
Heck
like
yeah.
Neil hates the idea of people using swords, so I love the idea of people using horses.
Yes. Yes. No, I completely agree. This is a grenade on the end of the spear. We're gonna rough ride our way into it.
All right, and then finally we have one of two that we got on the 22nd of March. Starting
Yeah,
off
little
with the
mistake.
leg. What do you think the leg is?
I am not 100% certain as to what the leg is, seeing as how we just did our Eldar. I was thinking it would be something like that.
Well, I mean, do
It's got an
Eldar do a
elf.
lot of straps and buttons?
I guess I'm thinking maybe Dark Eldar in that mindset. So maybe this is something in the Mortal Realms. Would be the only other thing I can think of. This is AOS.
I don't know. The knee pad kind of pushes me away from AOS.
Is that a knee pad or is that a hole in the knee?
I mean, if it was a hole in the knee, I think there would be some more texture.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I have a feeling this is probably on a future Kill Team box.
Okay.
I mean, there is a chance that this is a Corsair they haven't shown yet.
Right.
But additionally, this could also be like Inquisition or something.
Okay. I'll
I
give
mean,
you that.
They could always throw out another assassin at any time.
That's true. That is true.
I even love they point out What's that? The image has changed. The rumor engine must really be on the fritz.
Oops. Yeah.
So the first
Yeah.
one we got for this day was this boy, which
Yep.
I'm shocked, but the only thing I can say is we're getting another giant.
You know what I think? And I'm just not even trying to be mean and cynical about it. Somebody was going through the folders and pulled up the wrong year
Oh, you know what?
for the reveal
Right.
and clicked an old reveal.
You're right. I'm on Bill of Lost Souls right now, and I think there's
Yep.
someone just showing that exact image. So
Yeah, I think somebody clicked in the wrong folder, put up the wrong thing, and that's all it was. So
that's all it was.
Yep.
Oh well. That's hilarious. Good job, guys.
Shit happens all the time. The little thing like that. Oh well.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's no big deal. Well, so with that, I think we should jump right into our main topics. So let's go ahead and start off with IDK.
Oh, you're gonna let me gush about my book here before you let everyone know how happy you are. IDK. I was definitely one of the people who was very worried about this book whenever it got announced, because it very quickly could have come crashing down on our head and ruin the army. I think it did the exact opposite of that and said, hey, do you own IDK? Do you like a particular set of models in it at all? Legitimately anything. If you do, go ahead and make an army of that.
Yeah.
You're allowed to, and it won't be terrible. It'll be great. Definitely the book felt like it was pushed towards Thralls, at least as far as a competitive sense. But the fact that I can just go ahead and do the Bloodthirsty Shiver, take 3 sharks, call that my battle line, awesome.
Yeah, I'll
I can.
The one thing I was glad to see was, like, you took a couple offensive eels, and they still did a lot of work, but
Yes.
I wasn't like, oh god, not again. Like,
Right. It is not like the tail end of second whenever I would pull those out and everyone would be like, well. So it's a more balanced army, lost some tools. Tides stayed exactly the same, with the addition to rituals now being worth something. Yeah, I know you're shaking your head. You and a lot of other people are going to be very upset over those tides not even having a singular word change.
what I don't understand is, if you look at the base war scroll and just do tit for tat. So if you look at, I don't know, think of any other army, like, you're right there on par. Like, it's not like they're weak and then they use the tides to get up. It's not like, say, like, I dare say Wardens, where they're an okay base, but they need the buffs to get up there. It's like you're already there, like, with, like, if it just took all allegiance abilities away, and we just put like somewhat equal points of, like, say, Thralls versus
some Stormcast, honestly.
Stormcast. I would say Stormcast or Blight Kings.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be 50-50. Maybe not 50-50, but
it'll be a close fight. Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, well, we're also going to give you synergies, and we're going to give you new prayers, and we're going to give you the rituals, and we're going to give you the tides.
Yeah, I feel spoiled for choice in this book, that is for certain.
Yeah, I'm all for more viability. I hate when a book comes out and has one build, and that's the only way to play it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, again, I like that Seraphon has the way that you can go dinosaurs or mass infantry. I still wish the book would kind of come down a little bit. But, like, I like how it was Stormcast. If you wanted to go Paladins, you can go Paladins. You want to go Dragon Riders, you can go Dragon Riders. If you want to go Dracothian Guard, you can go Dracothian Guard. If you want to drop down, you can drop down. If you want to be Stormkeep, you can be Stormkeep, you know?
Right.
I just wish that they would try and be a little more even-handed.
Yeah, no. When you look at the two books when they came out together, it does not feel as though they were. I will agree with you.
And even still, I mean, I look at like, I even go back and look at um, Bone Reapers,
Yeah.
and even to a lesser extent, Cruel Boys.
Yeah, that whole book I think is struggling a little bit with anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Its
it's like,
internal balance is not very good personally, I think.
yeah, it's like just go Iron Jaws or go Big Wall and take as much Iron Jaws as you want and give yourself a little range. Like,
Yep.
um,
I mean,
you know,
there's a reason that the Bone Splitters piece of that book is in Predators.
yeah.
So,
Well, so let's kind of focus more on IDK right now. So,
yeah.
what do you think is the the best new toy that you get access to, or has become more viable out of the new book?
Something that's become more viable, obviously, is Thralls, like I said earlier. But I think the thing that nobody noticed until the book finally got cracked open, or at least nobody knew about, because we had an idea Thralls would be good whenever they released a Thrall Master. We saw the points
Yeah.
for the Thralls, and they're beautiful 2-inch reach. But I think that the King is actually going to become a problem for a lot of people, as he can just once per game cause high tide to happen for D3 units in your army. You count as though you're in high tide, which is the strikes first mechanic
Yeah.
that would happen on turn 3. It doesn't cost a command point, and he just picks D3 units holding than 12. And doing that on turn 2, whenever you might not normally be able to do such a thing, is going to be huge. The fact that you could take 2 kings and pop this ability multiple times throughout a game, which I've seen lists float around of people doing such things, is crazy. And not to mention that his own attacks with his bladed polearm are hitting on 3s, winning on 2s. If he charged, he's -3 rend, 3 damage. He's no slouch in combat.
Yeah. Again, this is another one of those examples where like with the Night Hunt thing where they're like, hey, people are really upset about this Sentinel thing. Let's just keep using the mechanic. Hey, people are upset about the these fulminators. Let's give it to an elf.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It is a rough one. And I think if there is a Neth Deepkin unit that is going to end up on the list of you get extra points when you kill this, it will be him. The king will definitely be on that list.
I wonder if they'll make him unique.
That might be a good fix for it. Yeah. 1 king per army would not be a terrible idea. I personally have only ever fit 1 in any lists I've been building.
Yeah.
But like I said, there are people out there fiddling around with trying to play 4. So I think that's way overboard, but I could see lists with 2.
I it's again, it's one of those things where it's like a little bit more even-handedness would not hurt this game. Just because it has elf in the keywords does not mean that each one needs 10 times better stats and 100 more abilities. Like,
yeah,
you could have a really fun army without giving without adding the one mechanic everyone was hoping to see go away.
Yeah, no, I fully expected to crack open this book and not see it there. And whenever it was there in the exact same way it was, I went, well, cool. I will read the rest of this book in peace and not complain about a darn change in the rest of it. And it's good times over here.
Well, so speaking of that, are there any changes that you grimace?
A few. I do not like that the aura ability on the aspect of the storm, who gives +1 to wound to anyone wholly within 12. It specifically says it does not affect mounts now.
Okay.
Which I think, with the eels gone down in their abilities, losing that is a little hurtful, but nothing too major.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they do like to overcorrect. That is.
Yeah, but I think it is a livable change. Things like that. A lot of bubbles feel a little small right now,
Yeah.
but that's something I'll need to get used to. The +1 to hit bubble for the King and Volturnus is only a 9-inch wholly within bubble, so that is making me feel like I am playing corn for a second there whenever I'm doing that.
Yeah. I feel like once we get down to 9 inches, we can probably drop the holy portion.
If we're gonna go to 9, just give me 6 and lose the holy.
Yeah.
I think from playing 40k enough at this point, yeah, I'll tow myself into 6. I'll take that.
Yeah. I definitely think we, as a design principle from the ground up, not everything needs to be wholly within, and I think um, I get it. I get the point of it, and I understand,
Hmm.
and I agree with most of the time.
Right.
But whenever you're getting to the point, like say, like with Soulblight, where you're sitting there lugging around 80 zombies, and you're supposed to be wholly within something, it's like,
Mhm.
okay, well now you're making me just not be able to play the game.
Right. And these being like 3-man units at the high side that you're affecting, it's not like I'm going to be able to string a big group backwards into somebody.
Right, and that's the
So,
other thing is I feel like they resolved a lot of these issues
mhm.
with the new cohesion rules.
It definitely helped them. I have to agree. If you
Right,
have to 2-man line backwards,
right.
boys, they're not a lot at the front anymore.
We're not doing any conga lines anymore. Like
Right.
that was the whole reason to start doing the Holy Within was to prevent the conga lines. And now with
Hmm.
cohesion, you don't have a choice.
Right.
So maybe let off that death grip a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a possibility that we could see a loosening of that and it not be a too big of a loss right now.
So now on to the sea creatures. What do you think of the sharks?
Sharks are very cool. I personally think the Bloodthirsty Shivers ability is it's underwhelming, but that's okay. The fact that you can just take some sharks and have them as battle line is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Um,
What is the ability you were just talking about, by the way?
so whenever if you would like, you can take 3 sharks as individuals. They cannot be in a unit, and those become a Bloodthirsty Shiver. When you have a Bloodthirsty Shiver and it is fighting within 3 inches of another Bloodthirsty Shiver shark, if you roll a 6 to hit on your bite attack, it inflicts an extra hit. Either one or
Sure.
2 extra hits. And on an attack, you'll get 3 dice, maybe 4 on the roll to try and get. So at most, this is affecting 12 dice a turn, looking for a 6 to hit.
Um,
It's unfortunate, but singleton sharks were already good before this book came out,
yeah.
and this just helped them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's kind of an odd one. Um,
yeah,
I don't,
the fact that the riders all gained a point of rend and the shots from their turret up top got better. Okay.
yeah. And then I know you've kind of had, you've kind of said a little like generic here and there, him and haw about the turtle.
Yeah, I think 500 points is probably too high. I think dropping at 30 points opens up a lot of list building opportunities. I understand that where it was at 380 was definitely too low.
Oh,
I
definitely.
think there's nobody that can say anything else. It was too low. We were getting something for free with that.
So, points aside, did the War
Yeah.
Scroll itself get nerfed?
Um, Minorly. It doesn't do impact hits. It just helps it with its stomp anymore whenever it charges.
Okay.
And outside of that, no, I'd say it didn't get nerfed. Its shots got slightly better because they're D3 damage now instead of 1. So
Did
there
the
will bounce it.
do
So
the fins still hit like a truck?
yep, still doing 4 damage with the fins.
Ooh.
Yep. Everyone's favorite. The -1 rend, but 4 damage each fins.
Yeah, that's um, yeah, it's woof. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's at least an easy fix that we can probably expect to see in the future.
Yeah, I don't think that there's anything wrong with the Turtles War Scroll. I think you could pull the points back a little bit, see it in competitive lists again, and it'll be happy.
All right. Anything else stick out? Any spells, prayers, new allegiance abilities?
As far as anything else, I would say Eidolon of the Sea is probably going to see play. Now, with its update, it is a re-rolling wizard that set you will move to within 12 inches of the enemy and say D3 of you have -1 armor save because we needed the extra rend. Yep, I think you'll see plenty of play.
Well, I think I'll wait for this IDK meta to go back down.
We'll see. We'll see. Not too many people jumped onto it for Adepticon. I think there were a whole 3 IDK players there. So
That's this time. We'll wait and see.
right, right. We'll see it here in a month.
Yeah.
I'll report back to you then.
Any new artifacts or anything?
Artifacts, no. Command abilities, one for the king, where during high tide, which he can give himself, he gets +2 attacks with that bladed polearm I was talking about for every enemy unit within 3 inches. So against Chuck, I was up around 30 something attacks because he had a big blob of heroes and 2 regular units together, and yeah, it got real bloody. So another reason for why he is going to end up in the "please kill me, you will get an extra point" category.
That's dumb. You're dumb for playing.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. I honestly, looking at it, it's fun, but it probably won't be in my list. I'll probably take the ability to flip the tides for my command ability.
Okay.
At all times. So.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Any other thoughts or anything? Or
this is a good book that, when the Magic meta comes back around, is going to get spanked. But that is probably okay. It is here to help correct the shooting meta, and it can hold up in a close combat meta because of its turn 3.
And again, all you have to do is take what's the bow ones? The Reavers?
Yeah. Yep.
Just take a double block of Reavers and just shoot anything that's doing magic, and you're good.
yeah. Just shoot the heroes. It'll be fine.
So I know you have to shoot what's closest. Does that include magic?
No, it does not.
Okay.
So that is why magic's good. You can get around all that. And the army, except for the heroes, have no wards. So, yeah.
Oh, poor baby.
Yeah. Hey, has to lose something, right?
All right, so we'll so I assume that you recommend the book.
Yeah, definitely. This is a fun book. Still, the army is, if you misstep and your opponent gets to charge you first, you're going to die. But it's very rewarding to play.
Unless it's defensive eels.
Less defensive eels. They're less defensive now, but still good. Still good. As Matt found out with his poor giant. Just roll 3s and you're fine. Just roll 3s.
Just roll more 6s. That's all it takes.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
All right. Well, so since we've kind of been doing letter grades for everything, what if this was a student of yours, what grade would you give it?
I'd say I'd give him an A-.
All right.
As far as everything is concerned and the meta is walking into, I think it's good. I think there are a few things that will give it an issue, but those are things that need to be addressed, so time will tell.
What do you think? What do you foresee as issues?
I think that I think the new Daughters of Cain book, because it will just pump out a lot of attacks, just like me. Because the army doesn't have a whole lot on the defensive side, that should put it down pretty quickly. Anything magic meta will be good. Dragons, I think, are going to cause it a big problem, personally.
I like how your big Achilles heel is
everyone's Achilles heel.
I can be attacked like normal.
Yeah. Yes, I can be attacked like normal. Bad for me. Also, if you're a Seraphon player, I've still never beaten any of you in competitive play, and I don't think that's going to change with this book.
Maybe we should just start playing Seraphon.
There you go. Start playing Seraphon. I won't be able to beat you anymore.
That might help. That might help get the third edition book out.
Who knows how long we'll be waiting for that.
Literally the second I finish the army. That's
There we go.
all right. So unless you have anything else, I think we'll move over to Fire Slayers.
Sounds good.
I think the best way to put this book is after this book dropped, GW wiped.
Boy.
It is. Now again, let me clarify here. So you will be able to win some games with this book. If you dedicate yourself to this book, you will become good with this book, and people will probably not want to play you. However, with that being said, you will probably never go 5-0.
Yeah, I think that's a fair evaluation.
And I think the best you could hope for is 4-1 if you get the right matchups and your opponent's having a bad day.
Some missions might need to line up for you too.
Like I said, it's a weak book. All of your war scrolls are definitely like any war scroll that is on par with something else from another army is 20 points higher, or at least 20% higher is what I meant to say there.
Right.
Like most of the army did not receive any buffs. There's very few things that I would consider buffs. I think the closest thing you get is the Rune Master, who got access to all the prayers, and then also has the ability to give extra command points if they stay within 3 inches of the general, which is difficult. Now, I still say one of the biggest problems in the book is one of the ones that they showed at first, where where they switched the ward save on the Hearthguard Berserkers. Having to be wholly within 9 of the hero is essentially untenable for any sort of offense. Unless something is up your butt and you are charging from 3 inches away, you're going to be outside of 9 inches and you're not going to have any ward at all. So I don't know what this does, because I don't know what the book's trying to do, because they're no longer really a defensive army. They're a defensive army only if you castle and turtle and don't go anywhere and don't try and worry about getting objectives.
Right. Sadly, we are playing an objective-based game, though, so you need to be allowed to go forward with something.
I mean, again, we're at the point now where everything has 1 or 2 rend, and everything is doing a couple damage. And so, basically, everything's caught up with where Hearthguard have been since 1st edition. The only difference is their points are now to the point where they're usable.
Right.
And like I said, I mean, it's really disappointing. Like, there's a lot of stuff that they put into... Again, let me back up here. So, there's 2 simultaneous minds going on here. So they have all of these god-awful once per game abilities. That if you are super smart and you're able to tell what's going on, you're going to be able to really put a wedge in there and use it as a fulcrum and get the game turned in your advantage, or polish the game off. The problem is I don't know anyone outside of like Bill and Roger who are going to be smart enough to be able to figure that shit out.
Right.
So the amount of thought and planning that had to go into the synergies between these once per game abilities is immense. Whereas the rest of the book no thought was put into it. Like, so one of the things that I was thinking about, I was looking through everything. I was looking at the Doom Seeker.
Okay.
Well, the Doom Seeker is 85 points.
Right.
It has 2 weapons. One attack is 3 attacks, 3's threes, no rend 1 damage. The other is 3 attacks, 3's threes, 1 rend 1 damage. I forget exactly what it is, but you pick an enemy at the beginning of the game, and as long as he's fighting that, I believe he gets to fight twice. I believe that's what he gets.
Okay.
So,
well, with that stat block, it sounds like he's certainly seeking his doom.
yes. But here's what's funny. So, if you go with the rune that gives you an additional attack.
Okay.
He's now at 4s and 4. Or 8 attacks total.
Right.
Doing that twice if he's going against his thing. So that's 16. Mm-hmm. Now, if you give him the magma draft or whatever it's called, it's a once per game ability where you get to double his attacks.
Okay.
So now you're sitting there looking at.
Okay. You're looking at potential 32.
You're looking at 32 attacks. Like.
Okay. Okay.
And I forget if there's. I don't think there's any command traits or anything because they're only heroes and not leaders.
Right.
But like. So you have that for 85 points, where you can still make it his finest hour and give him all-out attack, or you can go with the 105-point Grimwrath Berserker, where there's a bunch of near useless, or at least very situational oaths that you can give him. I mean, again, run and charge is always good, but
right.
I mean, he has 4 attacks.
As a single guy, yeah, it's a little less so.
4 attacks, 3s and 3s, 1 rend 2 damage, or 2 rend 2 damage? I forget exactly what the rend is, but like,
yeah,
it's nothing special.
Yeah.
Like, the best thing you can do if you take Gotrek, which you shouldn't take Gotrek because he's too many points, is you go with the one where it's an ally, so him and your Grimwrath and Gotrek can be team buddy, and now you're doing hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s. You could do that. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I do feel like the army wants these guys to be working with the Hearthguard, as they are characters, so that is at least someone who will give you your 9-inch, hey, we've got our 4 up again.
Yeah, like I said, I mean...
However, they're quick to die as far as that army's concerned, which, at least they get to fight on death, so...
Well, that's the Volkite get to do that. Oh, you're talking about the Hearthguard.
The hero.
The Grimwrath, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so both the Grimwrath and the Doom Seeker both get to do that. Again, like, I mean, you played with the Grimwrath.
Right.
And you said you weren't impressed with him.
I was not. However, I was in a -1 damage bubble whenever I was fighting with him. So I'd have been a little bit more impressed. It's difficult, though, with single models for them to do something like that.
Right.
Single small hero models.
Right. They just don't know how to write rules for on-foot heroes at this time.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, as far as impressive on-foot heroes, you have Gotrek.
Yep.
Spirit of what's his face from Lumineth.
Yeah. Yep.
And then from there, it's like, okay, now I'm just going to pick out great utility pieces like the Lord Relictor and Castellan, Lotan.
Yeah. Yeah. Lotan now.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I don't know. Like I said, it's hard because like it's hard to kind of look at this, and you know what's funny is like I'm on the Fire Slayers Facebook page, mm-hmm. where everyone's like, "Hey, it's not so bad. It's not so bad." I'm like, you guys have just been getting your butt kicked for so long, you just forget what it feels like to win. Like, because like it seems like every single time there was something that could slightly be considered a buff, there was 2 nerfs around the corner.
Yeah.
Like they gave Magmadroths the ability to be battle line. They gave them
Right.
now we should probably do TTS at some point to do
And just try the all Magmadroth
right.
battle line.
And again, I think it's the best way to do is 3, just cap out at 3 and move on from there. And
you need some good backline holders. You don't want it to all be Magmadroths and then you not be able to throw something forward.
And again, while I'm thinking of trying to come up with positive things, all the throwing axes were 4s and 4s instead of 5s and 5s. So that's
little buff. Yeah,
that's great. I mean, that's what it should have been. I don't want these throwing axes to be anything that is groundbreaking.
Right.
I literally just want them peppered in. I honestly really would like to. I like it because when Chuck and I were originally playing AOS, right when things first came out, and I was trying to play my Dispossessed, he let me use a unit of Iron Breakers, which I read the pistol profile, and both he and I thought that everyone had a pistol.
Oh,
it was a little 9-inch thing, and it made the unit so unique and so cool feeling. And so I do get reminiscent feelings of that.
Okay.
But again, like, not having the ward save, not having a base war save on the war scroll is a real hit to the jimmies.
Having a 6-up all around would be very helpful, especially on the heroes. Having a 5-up on all the heroes, especially as the Deepkin player just got that, it wouldn't hurt you at all.
Exactly. Like I said, I mean, the Magmadroths aren't good enough. They've nerfed the Volkite and raised their points. And then, like I said, that new hero is like a slap in the face because it's like... I wonder if there is a build where you can take 3 blocks of reinforced Volkite and you just keep Flame Keepers around.
Chucking them at the enemy.
And so you just like, there's 6. Okay, here's an ability. 6, there's an ability. And then hopefully you do enough damage to kill whatever you're fighting. So then you can use the Battlesmith to do the 5-up rally. If you can keep a 20 block of Volkite in the 12-inch bubble that you need to, or maybe it might be an 18-inch. Oh, if it's an 18-inch, no problem. But if it's 12-inch, like,
now we're fighting. Yeah, especially with our 4-inch move that we're talking with here. Yeah,
right. And it's like, and with the Volkite, so like I have all my Volkite with the shields because the shields have always been good since day one.
Right.
And now it's like the shields... Well, the unit itself has been nerfed so hard because they were baseline 2 attacks before.
Right.
And now they did not get an additional reach event, or an additional inch of reach. So they're still only attacking one rank.
Right.
So everything beyond that first line is useless.
Yeah.
And then you lose all those attacks. And so, but then you like oddly buff the dual wielding ones. So they're I forget if they're 5-up or 6-up, but then they're 2 attacks, 3 attacks on the charge.
Okay. It's good.
So it's almost like, and then like that's the one where you can also say that's the end where you can go, okay, if they die, you can pile and charge. So it's almost like you charge into something that you know is going to kill you, get your 3 attacks, hopefully burn the rune that gives them an additional attack, so then you have a front line of hopefully maybe you can get 10 guys in, and so then maybe that's 40 attacks.
Yeah.
But again, it's still 3s and 3s, no rend 1 damage.
Right. That is the issue, I think, is that, yes, they have the 3s and 3s profile, which it seems like GW has been moving to for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Stormcast have it. Now my Deepkin have it. I think, what are they? Blight Lords also have such a profile.
Yeah.
But all those other things have -1 rend attached to them.
Yeah.
Something that I think should have just been attached to these axes.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly like I would be fine without the rend if they had
Mm.
2-inch reach. If they had 2-inch reach, I would say we could probably do something with this army.
Yeah.
But without it, it's like I don't know how. I don't know how to play because like you can't keep them on the board. They don't do enough damage to do anything.
Right.
So again, I don't know where the defense is coming from. I don't know where the offense is coming from. You don't have the mobility, so it's like, how did you want us to win this game?
Right.
And this is what you're good.
I don't know. I know Chuck and I had said this while we were at the event and after our game. It almost feels like you want the the increased empowered rune at all times
Yeah.
would maybe help this army big time. Like if we just got rid of the roll of 6 instead, if it was be capable of picking up a dice and you get the empowered version,
Yeah.
I think it would help this army out a lot. Um, that and there just needs to be more ability for run and charge in this army.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know why run and charge is just not an allegiance ability.
Yeah,
I mean it.
or it honestly should just be one of the runes. It should be here's your once per game. The whole army gets run and charge. We're done.
Technically, if you enhance the +2 movement, and there
That
is
would
a
be pretty
prayer that allows 1 unit to run and charge,
Right. Yeah. And
but like
I used that whenever I was playing, but
Yeah.
doing that with one unit and chucking it forward and then losing its 4-up invuln
right.
didn't
Right.
feel good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't get it. I wonder if like maybe the Volkite are meant to be the what you run forward with, and you only use Hearthguard on the back line, and you don't worry
It very
about.
well could be that you're to design it to clear screens and everything with the Volkite and have slowly advanced your heroes with the Hearthguard behind them. But I feel like you start running out of points by the time you're doing something like that.
Right. Yeah, I mean
So
that's
it's
the biggest
interesting.
problem. Is
Yeah.
like I put down 3 blocks of 10 Hearthguard, and then I give my required heroes, and I'm out of points.
Yep.
And it's like, I, I don't know because like I don't know what to do. I don't know how I can't even figure out an army list that gets your foot in the door.
Right.
Um,
No, and I understand your frustration. I can see you're passionate about all your dwarf armies, so you
and
definitely
that's kind of one of the things that why I get so upset is like every single, and this is going to sound like whining, and I get it, but we're so laid in that no one's watching. So
right. It's okay. Hi, Dave. I think you're the only one still watching.
every single dwarf army, every single time they've done dwarf rules, have been a kick to the shit. It's like as soon as something starts to get good, they have to bring you back down.
Right.
And it's like,
Yeah,
then when they release an elf army, it's like, okay, here's above average war scroll stats, and then here's also more.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I can see how you're getting that feeling, especially with this book coming out at the same time as yours,
right,
and some of the rules in here should probably just also be read in your book.
right.
Like the fact that my foot heroes, have a 5-up board should probably just be printed on your war scroll as well.
Right. And again, like I said, I mean, it's not necessarily like it's not me necessarily caring that elves are getting elf
It's
books.
that you would like to play with fun toys and have
Right.
games.
That's
as well.
exactly it. It's like I want to be able to put the armies that I enjoy on the table and have a chance with them, just as
Right.
much as the next person with their book.
Yeah.
But again, going back to fantasy, GW has this bias where elves are supposed to be superior, so they literally just make them better. And it's like, that's
It's supposed
dumb.
to be a semi-balanced game. Yeah,
Right.
so let's give us that.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I mean, I have no problem with not having a bunch of tricks and everything. I think it's interesting. If it was me, if I was writing all the books from scratch,
Yeah.
elves are going to have each like elf unit is going to have something that they're better at than average, but that's it.
Right.
And then I'm going to give them a shit ton of weird abilities, like your tides and your whatever the Daughters of Cain turn thing is. Like,
yes,
I'm giving you those abilities so you can figure out how to use them at the right time and the right place. Whenever I build dwarves, I'm building them so you still get the strength, and so like a little bit they're a little bit better than average.
They're a little bit beefier.
Across
they can take
the
a hit.
board, but
right.
they don't have a lot of tricks. So it's just you just have to learn where to push.
Right. This is the War Scroll. Don't ask me for anything else because the War Scroll's there for you. Yeah.
And again, I feel like they kind of did that with Stormcast, which
I think so.
Which I think is one of the reasons why I'm liking them as much as I am. Because honestly, this is what I want from the dwarves. Like, this is what I want from the dispossessed, is that front line with shooty guys behind, and if you can get to the soft, squishy back line, you win. Like,
yeah. No, I completely agree. That is what you were describing, which is above average units and not a whole lot of extra stuff.
Yeah,
it's our Stormcast book.
But again, like, I mean, here we go with Fyreslayers versus IDK.
Yeah,
IDK clearly wins.
Yeah, I think so.
And then the last time a dwarf book came out, it was KO and Tzeentch, and Tzeentch clearly wins.
Yep.
Again, Tzeentch's top tables, you don't see KO anywhere.
Yeah, I think they're still gun shy, pun intended, about KO. After that first release where they were mopping up there for the first few months, but I think we can give them something. These dwarves need a little something more to help them.
Well, like I said, I mean, since we're already looking forward to KO at this point because Fyreslayers is done.
Understood.
Honestly, like, the problem is with the pandemic, this to me is one of the worst times. Well, we'll see. We'll see where it goes out. But as of right now, based on history and what we are getting now, it seems like this is a terrible time for these books to be coming out because no one's getting anything. And KO needs the other half of that army. Whatever that is.
Right. It needs its ground force in your mind. In
my mind, yes. But whatever, like, because right now, again, there's no anvil in the unit. There's nothing you can do to hold an objective. If something gets into any of your boats, it's gone.
Now, here's an idea I had once upon a time for that army, because I want it to be good as well.
Yeah.
I think KO is a cool idea, and honestly, I wouldn't mind owning the army, but I don't know if I ever will. I think if you don't do a fly high, which is where you essentially teleport, you should be allowed to disembark at the end of the move with some of it. If you are X number of inches away from an enemy.
Well, now,
just so that at worst, you can screen that big boat that you just moved up with.
Yeah, that's true. Like I said, I mean, that's one of the issues is like, and again, this is straying from Fyreslayers, but again, it's in the same, it's the same point of this Duarden getting stomped. Like, you're not ruining the game if the things inside the boat count towards holding an objective.
Yeah.
Because
you paid for all those points. It's fine.
Right. Because again, here's the thing: is like you can't drop in closer than 9 inches. So if your opponent is smart and sitting on an objective, you cannot get within capture range of that objective.
Yep.
So only until next turn, where you charge in with your 10 guys on board that you can only count as 13 models, which is easy to do. Like, it's easy to outscore that. Like, but again, like I said, that's like, Fyreslayers don't have anything to help score objectives.
Yeah, and especially them being a low model count army, to see them count as maybe 2 models apiece for some restriction, just like how Stormcast can count as 3 for some restriction, would definitely have helped the army out.
Yeah. I mean, so like, one of the things that's always bothered me was how like all dwarves are mercenaries now. Like,
Right.
and like that's one of the things they're talking about in one of the books is like, or one of the stories is how they're upset at Hermdar. Rest in peace, Hermdar.
Mm-hmm.
People are upset at Hermdar because they're undercutting prices.
I mean, yeah, but what about the proud dwarves who built their own cities and everything like that?
Now, to be fair, that's one thing. Like, as far as narrative goes, if I'm playing Fire Slayers, they're narratively from Hermdar because the reason why they undercut prices is because they actually take on missions on a moral scale.
Okay.
So, like, say they would turn down a thing from Chaos, but like the local leader of our city is being horrible to us. We don't have any money. Can you help us? Yeah, we'll give you an IOU.
Yeah, yeah.
100
years from now, whenever you're prosperous, I'm gonna come collect. But for now,
right. So good. So they're like, as far as like say like Greyfeared, the most popular one, they're the ones like, I'll suck your dick for some Urgle, like.
Gotcha.
So it's like, I can't stand that. That is the most undwarf thing that they could possibly come up with.
Like, yeah, compared to the old world, definitely is. Yeah.
And like, again, like that sense of pride and the sense of like, I'd almost go on a limb and say unearned nobility or
arrogance. Yeah.
Again, yeah, like I said, it's somewhere between nobility and arrogance. Arrogant nobility.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. There we go.
It's like, well, they had higher expectations of themselves, and now it's just like I said. I mean, it's just whatever you want. It's
yep.
You want a beer job? Want a beer job? And so like. So they double down into that, and then like the rules are bad, the narrative's bad. Like, how am I supposed to want to play this army? Like,
rough day to be an old world dwarf lover.
I mean, again, even still, like I still think, honestly, like for Fire Slayers players themselves, you had your moment in the sun whenever you had the popping up and axe throwing with your Volkite. Yeah. And then you had the little period when people figured out that Hermdar was good until third edition.
Right.
So, like, I don't know, man. It's just like, it just feels like they're not a chosen son, so they just... It's like, again, like you were talking about with KO, it's like, KO are coming out and actually are doing well, and again, by the time that they were nerfed, people had already figured out how to fight them, and it really wasn't a problem anymore.
Right.
But they were doing better than GW wanted them to, so we have to push them down.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, if you know how to do that, why aren't you doing that with your other armies? Like, why if Seraphon of all people are like an army that literally has a battle line box set that's older than you are, is like your champion prize boy right now.
Yeah, I honestly think it's got to be one of the strongest armies out there between it and Stormcast, which, hey, Stormcast are your literal poster boys. If there's an army that should be strong, probably should be them.
I mean, again, I've only fought Seraphon a couple times, thankfully. Mm-hmm. But, like, every time I fought them, they have just been so dominating and so, like, just shut down all your shit. I'm like, I don't even know how to begin to play against them.
When I figure it out, I'll let you know.
Yeah. We need to do is we need to figure out if Roger or Bill's fought them and get a scope of the play-by-play on that game.
There we go. Or we just need to play them and then play against Roger and Bill and watch how they beat us.
Yeah.
And then we'll know.
Now, lastly here, I will say, like, I think I said this last time or the last time we talked about dwarves, like, it still doesn't. I feel like the rune mechanic for Fire Slayers and the Aether Gold mechanic for KO feel like they should be switched.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
I feel like it should be the individual Fire Slayer units that are activating a certain rune on them.
Right.
Because that's
like the unit boss says, hey, activate your rune,
right.
And it turns on and we're going to go in.
Right, because there's different runes, and so different Fire Slayers take different runes for different reasons. And so it would make sense for, like, hey, everyone in here, you have to take Gra, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And then, like, whereas with KO, it'd be much easier to just blend the Aether Gold into a parlay.
I mean, it's the captain on the loudspeaker
right,
telling
exactly.
you what to do across the battlefield.
Right. Which amendment are we pulling out this turn,
Right, yeah.
And that makes more sense to me, but they're never going to change that. That's...
Right. No, that is a huge swing to ever ask for something like that, but I understand why, and especially from a narrative standpoint, I think we are in agreement that, yeah, it would be more fun to watch the Fire Slayers individual units be turning themselves on for battle as they get themselves in a frenzy.
And for the limited for the limited amount of utility they have, it would really go a long ways, because like for KO, it does provide a lot of utility.
Yeah.
But the problem is they're so bad at everything that isn't shooting that unless it's buffing their shooting, it's just yelling in the vacuum of space. Yeah, it's like, okay, I guess I can have +1 to my melee hit. Now I'm on a 3 and 4.
I'm desperate for it, so I guess I'll take it.
Oh boy, my 1-up save, so now I'm on a 4-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it just doesn't. It just seems like a weird play. But we do have the KO Celestial Battle Tome, or whatever the heck they're calling them, on the White Dwarfs next week or next month.
Yeah.
So we get to talk about KO a little bit, bitch a little bit more about that, because I'm sure
we'll talk KO a little bit more. Yep.
I'm sure it's gonna be a little underwhelming.
Yep.
I don't know.
Warpstone GT in Pittsburgh's coming up.
Yeah, we do have that. Okay, so that's... expect a lot of talk on that.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, I think... I still want to keep going, but there's nothing... Just beating a drum.
Just keep beating that horse. You keep it up.
What I really want to do is come up with, like, a giant PowerPoint presentation and literally dissect every war scroll and show why every single one is a poor choice.
No, I hear you. You do that, and I'll make mine where I'm sitting here gushing about how good everything is. And, it'll be okay.
I get to re-roll everything, and I get to run and charge.
Hey, now. We have none of those re-rolls anymore. Don't you worry. Boy, did that hurt whenever I went to attack with the turtle the other night against you. I rolled ones. I don't do anything about that.
It was like...
what do you mean?
It was like that scene with Legolas doing like the deleted scene where they're doing a drinking contest, and Legolas is like, I feel something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's... It's funny, like, none of my armies that I play have any re-rolls of any kind, so whenever I do have something that's re-rolling, I'm like with my giants, it's like the... I always forget which is which. One is I re-roll when I'm fighting monsters, and the other is I re-roll when I'm not fighting monsters.
Okay.
But it's ones only, and I just... Oh, okay.
Sure, yeah. Hey, it's something.
But yeah. So again, so whenever I see someone doing that, I'm like, seems like a little much. Seems like a try a little
Right.
hard.
Yeah.
Now, have they been taking them? I didn't notice. Were they taking like rerolls and stuff out of?
Yes. As far as I can tell, rerolls are slowly being stripped out. So I think there's still a few cases of it here or there in some of the armies.
You know,
But I think they are purposely removing them. So
yeah. I mean, that's good. I mean, I can see it.
speeds up the game. You're not hunting for ones or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I think I could probably make an argument both ways.
Yeah.
Like I said again, as someone that typically doesn't play armies that really have a lot of rerolls, I kind of wish I had rerolls.
No, I hear you. Yep.
So like to think of it going away, I'm like, well, just because I wasn't having fun doesn't mean no one should have fun.
Yeah. You'll be on a more even playing field with everyone else in that sense, at least.
Yeah, man. We got to. So we got to get some TTS in
Yep.
before the
Get some
tournament.
practice in for the tournament. Yep.
Because boy, Neil has shaken my confidence in my army.
Don't worry. We'll get her figured out here.
Ooh, so one thing I was thinking about for a future episode,
Hmm.
which we're just going to do it live here.
All right.
So I think I pointed out to you at LVO that Conquest game.
Yes.
So I don't know, it popped up on my feed, and so I was looking into it. It was actually 2 Plus Tough's. He has a whole series on the game,
Oh, okay.
and it actually looks really fun. So
You might want to.
So
Okay.
hear me out. They are super awesome. Like as a company,
Okay.
the rules are all free.
Okay.
The army rules are all free, and they have a module on TTS that is official, that I believe is also free.
Okay. Okay.
So I think a in the next couple months, well, if there's we're having a slow news month, we might have a month where our episode is literally we're in TTS and I'm teaching you how to play.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to do that, heck, I'd even just do an episode of let's just get a game in on TTS sometime
Yeah.
and just show everyone.
Well, that's why I
And-
still say that if we ever do more than one episode a month, TTS is probably going to be involved.
I'm okay with that.
All right, you got anything else to say to the sleeping person who's left doing that edge highlighting?
To you doing that edge highlighting, good on you. You keep at it. It's looking great. Also, Deepkin are really good and expect to see more of them. And it will be in probably at least 2 different flavors, maybe 3. So enjoy that. So
Yeah, and as far as the one person that's left, yeah, I concur. Great job, great looking models. On top of that, you're a very handsome looking person. You should feel good about yourself. Hey, ooh, let me do some shilling. Go to the store and pick up a Double Turn Me Daddy shirt. I haven't said that all episode. So
yeah,
so do that.
everybody loved that down at LVO. Oh,
I'm like, then I was like, damn it, I should have put the logo on it. The problem was is like, so on the back, it wouldn't let me get it small enough, and it wouldn't let me get it high enough. Like, so if this is the back, I would want the logo like right here.
yep, just base my neck. Yep.
This was as high, like right here was about as high as I could get it, and it was like, it was like this. It was so big and gaudy.
Awkward spot between the shoulder blades
I guess what I
type
could
of
have done
thing.
is just do the whole back.
Next time.
Just
next time.
We could do that tomorrow. That's a good idea. All right, everybody. Have a good week. Have a good month. We'll see you next month. We'll be talking a little bit of KO, and we'll be talking about what do they call it? Warpstone Wars?
Warpstone Wars, Warpstone GT. I need
Warpstone
need
Wars
to double
GT. Fabricator
Yep.
Forge. If you're interested, keep an eye out. I know it's sold out, but the wait list, we can always help you out. Rub some people out,
Yep.
break some kneecaps.
There you go.
I think that'll work. I mean, You don't. Not everyone needs their kneecaps, right?
No, you don't need them.